Okay, well, now let's continue to the next skill. It's about organizational structure. Okay, if in the previous unit we have already learned about um, the three main parts of a lectures or academic text. Yeah, so normally there are always three main parts. The first is an introduction, and then a body and a conclusion. Well, now uh, let's talk about organizational structure. Okay, so in this unit, we are going to learn about organizational structure, organization information, and then listening. You are going to listen for cause and effect expression as well as preparing for an oral presentation. Okay. Well, so guys, in this section, you will learn how to organize ideas, take notes while listening. Yeah, this is very important skill to practice, guys. Take notes while listening and listen for causes and effects. Okay. Well, now, okay, we before we start your listening practice, as I told you before, uh, in the previous unit or the previous lesson about main ideas and supporting details, academic texts and lectures often have three main parts, you guys: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Nah, the way these ideas are organized is the organizational structure. Nah, jadi namanya itu adalah organizational structure. Nah, the way a paragraph or listening, uh, how do they deliver or manage the writing or their talk? This one, okay. It's always introduction, part of introduction, and then body. These are the body, and the last is conclusion. So these three main parts, introduction, body, and then conclusion, are called the organizational structure. Okay. Organizational structure is related to a writer or a speaker's purpose. So it's really depend on the purpose of the speaker or the author uh, when they write the text or paragraph. Okay. Now, guys, for example, someone may use a compare or contrast structure to tell how things are the same or different. Yeah. Or and then recognizing organizational structures will make reading and listening faster and easier. Now that's why in this unit you will practice, okay, you are trained or you are practice how to organize or how to identify or how to make sure that you really familiar with the organizational structure so that you can, when you read and when you listen uh, a talk or a lecture, it can be faster and easier. And well, in this unit, yeah, you will learn about the organizational structure of a cause and effect. Okay. Because this is a cause and effect organizational structure. The structure is used to explain the relationship between a cause and the reason of something happens, and the effect or the result of the cause. So that's what we call cause and effect. Okay, so it's used to explain the relationship between a cause or a reason something happened or the reason why something can happen, and the effect, yeah, the result of the cause. Okay, before you listen, everyone, I want you to look at this picture. Okay, look at the diagram to identify the different parts of the ecosystem and read the statement on the next page that describe the diagram. Label the statement in the correct order, then compare your answer with a partner's. Okay, this is the diagram. So it's about the Brazil nut tree grows in the Amazon rainforest. People eat Brazil nuts, and the international Brazil nut business is worth $50 million a year. To make new trees and new fruit, each tree needs to help of bees to pollinate. Okay, so please study this diagram first. After that, you need to arrange this sentence in the correct order. Okay, about this the Brazil nut tree grows in the Amazon forest. Okay, this one are the order, but it is jumbled, so you need to put them in order. Okay, after you guys put them in order, okay, sorry, thank you, baby. Please proceed. Yeah, after you put the sentences in order, please complete this paragraph about the Brazil nut trees. Okay, complete them. You complete this paragraph, so it has full information about the Brazil nut tree. After that, please answer the question from number 1 to number 3. So it's really important to practice or to train your critical thinking before you listen. After that, guys, try to answer exercise number 3. Well, you may discuss with your friend, and then you can type your discussion result about these 3 questions. Okay, you may discuss with a partner or with some friends, and then you guys can type or write the conclusion, or not the conclusion, but uh, the information to answer the question from number 1 to number 3. Okay, now let's move on. And this is about organizing information. Knowing how to organize information from a lecture is an important academic skill. This skill, why is it important? When you have uh, when you have ability to organize information from a lecture or from a talk or from a video you listen, because first it helps you to understand and remember the information you hear. Okay, the second one, it helps you to find the relationships between ideas. The last, it make um it makes it make it it makes you easier, yeah, to review the information. Okay, now one way to organize information is to use a graphic organizer. A graphic organizer is a chart or diagram that shows the organization of information. Guys, so you can use graphic organizers to take notes on a lecture. Okay, because after this meeting, you're going to listen uh, many talks through the link that I'm going to share. Okay, for the next meeting, so you will practice your listening many times. So make sure you guys practice your skill to organize information by practicing about writing and outlines, and then um, making notes, yeah. And this one, or no, not making notes, but take notes from a lecture or a talk. You can also use them to organize your ideas for a paper or a presentation. Okay, now, all right, so you're going to practice your listening. So look here, before you listen, please check the keywords here. There are some keywords to help you or to make you easier to follow the lecture later on. So here, please listen to the lecture. Complete the graphic organizer with the information from the box that you will also hear. Okay, so you need to complete the 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 graphic organizer here with the words from the box. Yeah. Then compare your graphic organizer with a partner's.
Dollars a year. Unfortunately, the web of life of the Amazon is in danger.
Unit 2, Ecology, the Web of Life. Lecture, Web of Life.
Are we ready to begin? Okay. Today, I'll continue on the topic of the web of life and discuss what happens when a part of the web is in danger. In particular, I'll discuss the ecosystem of the Amazon rainforest and the effect of its destruction on life across the planet. Like other ecosystems, all parts of the rainforest web of life are connected. Think about the Brazil nut tree. This tree depends on pollination by small bees and other insects for life. If this little piece of the tree's ecosystem was missing, the web would break, and there would be few Brazil nut trees. Consequently, people in the Amazon would lose an important food. This would also destroy an international business worth about $50 million a year. Unfortunately, the web of life of the Amazon is in danger. In fact, 20% of the rainforest has disappeared due to human actions. Local people and international companies are burning forests down to use the land for farms and farm animals. In addition, people around the world use paper and building materials made from millions of rainforest trees. These actions have serious effects on all living things. First, because trees are disappearing, many animals are losing their homes and food. A lot of them die. Since many living things depend on each other, when some die, the whole web of life is affected. The destruction of the rainforest also has serious consequences for people around the world. We use many trees and plants from the Amazon to produce medicines that help people with serious diseases. In fact, 70% of medicines for cancer come from rainforest plants. Aspirin and many other drugs you probably use come from rainforest plants too. But scientists have tested only 1% of rainforest plants, just 1%. Many unknown plants have also already disappeared. So scientists won't be able to study them and find more new medicines from them. This hurts all of us. So as you can see, destroying the rainforest has serious effects on living things across our planet. Okay, next week, we're going to talk more about global warming.
Okay, yeah. So try to complete the diagram. I think it's very easy. The lecture is very easy to be followed because it's very well organized. Yeah. So the lecturer mentioned about the cause, and then after that the effects. Yeah, which is very good organization of a lecture, I guess. Okay, now uh, let's move on. After you guys finished the completing the diagram or the graphs, please answer this question. Okay, please choose this. Okay, question number 1 to number 5. And then after that, please listen again, play again the audio about the web of life. Listen to the lecture again and then circle the correct answer to complete each sentence. Okay guys, next, please listen to the expert from the lecture. Circle the cause and effect expression you hear, whether it is since or consequently, so or since or therefore and since. Okay, circle them when you listen to the experts from the lecture.
Focused listening. Exercise 2, page 26. Excerpt 1.
If this little piece of the tree's ecosystem was missing, the web would break, and there would be few Brazil nut trees. Consequently, people in the Amazon would lose an important food.
Excerpt 2.
Many unknown plants have also already disappeared, so scientists won't be able to study them and find more new medicines from them.
Excerpt 3.
Since many living things depend on each other, when some die, the whole web of life is affected.
Okay, and now please complete this paragraph by listening to the expert from the lecture. Complete the expert with the cause and effect expression you hear.
Exercise 3, page 26.
Unfortunately, the web of life of the Amazon is in danger. In fact, 20% of the rainforest has disappeared due to human actions. Local people and international companies are burning forests down to use the land for farms and farm animals. In addition, people around the world use paper and building materials made from millions of rainforest trees. These actions have serious effects on all living things. First, because trees are disappearing, many animals are losing their homes and food. A lot of them die. Since many living things depend on each other, when some die, the whole web of life is affected.
Okay, now you guys please discuss the question in a small group and then share your ideas with the class. Okay, well, but for this, you just need to just write your answer, type your answer, okay? And then collect it in one file. Okay, you have already listened how about the organizational structure, and then you have also listened to a lecture, yeah, or about cause and effect. So now let's move on to speaking skill, which is related to your listening ability, of course. So now let's practice preparing for an oral presentation. Okay, now let's uh, prepare for an oral presentation. Okay, guys, so in this section, you will practice preparing oral presentation. Okay, so at the end of this meeting, you will have to create a video showing you are doing a presentation. Okay, but the presentation is not like what you did in the class, but you have to show the outline first to the camera and then you sit down and present your uh, and present your presentation only by using the outline. Yeah. Okay. Uh, uh, so in this section, sorry, I will repeat. You will practice preparing oral presentation. Then you will prepare and give a presentation about the causes and or the effects of destruction to an ecosystem surface. Yeah, you will use ideas and vocabularies from this unit. Okay, so this one, the topic of your presentation is about the causes and the effects of destruction to an ecosystem surface. Yeah. Okay, so guys, in academic courses, students often give short presentations, of course, yeah. When you speak, it is better to use notes rather than to read a paper word for word. Now, this is what most of students do, yeah, when they do presentation. They don't really present, but they read their paper word per word, okay, which is very boring. Okay, so, well, that way, guys, you can look at your audience while you talk. That's why it's very important when you speak. It is better to use notes rather than to read a paper word for word, because that way you can look at your audience while you talk. And to prepare your for your presentation, you can take notes on the introduction, main ideas, details, and conclusion in several ways. So you can use this like in an outline or in a PowerPoint presentation or on a note card. Okay. Practice giving information and practice giving your presentation with a clear, strong voice, and then look up from your notes as much as possible. Okay. So don't read your paper later on. Okay, now uh, as an example, yeah, let's listen to a student presentation. And as you listen, complete the note cards on the next page with the words from the box. Then compare notes with partners. Okay, yeah. This one is the notes. The notes from the student. Okay, so what you have to do, you need to complete this note with the words from the boxes here. Okay, complete this note A, B, C, D with the words from the box. Okay, are you ready to listen? Okay, here we go.
Before you speak, exercise 1, page 32.
My presentation today is on pollination, a very important ecosystem service. When we think about bees, usually the first thing we think of is sweet, delicious honey, right? Yeah, well, there's a surprising thing. Beekeepers in the US make more money today by renting honeybees to pollinate plants than by selling honey. Yeah. See, beekeepers put bees in boxes called beehives and take them all over the country to work on farms. But now a strange thing is happening. Bees are leaving their beehives and not returning. One beekeeper in California lost 50 million bees in one day. Yeah, really. Now, losing millions of bees is a really serious problem all over the world. Honeybee pollination services are worth $8.3 billion per year in the United States alone. If the bee population keeps growing smaller, there will be very costly consequences. So, I know you're all asking, like, where did the bees go? What's happening, right? Why are there fewer bees? Well, experts are studying this. Any guesses? Well, first, just like all of us students, bees work too much and they have a poor diet. It's not natural. This can cause bees to get stressed and sick, just like with people. Finally, insecticides used on farms can hurt bees. Like I said, there are serious consequences of losing bees. With no bees, people will have to pollinate all the foods that depend on insect pollination, including apples, onions, and about 150 other fruits and vegetables. This would cause the food to be very expensive and not as good. So, in other words, losing bees is very costly for the economy. One expert says that losing bees may cause farmers in the United States to lose $15 billion and other businesses to lose $75 billion. In conclusion, bees are a super valuable part of our web of life. The effects of losing them can be very costly. Hopefully, we can find a way to save bees soon. Okay, are there any questions?
Okay. Well, um, how is it? Can you complete the cards easily? Yeah, if you can't, just play again the audio and then try to complete the notes. Yeah. All right. After you finish completing the notes, guys, let's move on to exercise 2. But before you do the exercise 2, check out, please check the keywords here about honey and population. Okay, so try to read the statement here and decide whether the sentence are true or false. Okay, by giving the letter T for true and F for false answer. Okay, next. Well, let's prepare for an oral presentation. Yeah, you can use certain expressions to help your listeners follow your presentation easily. Okay, so the first, to introduce your main idea or topic, you can say, today I'm going to talk about, or my presentation today is on. Okay, and to introduce a point, guys, you can use first or second, next, another cause, or another if I case, or finally, and my final point is, and then to conclude your presentation, in conclusion, to close, and to ask if there are any questions from your listeners. Are there any questions? Do you have any questions? Okay, so all of you guys try to use this organizational structure and expression when you do your presentation in your video later on. Okay, make sure you guys use this expression. I want you guys to use this expression and try to practice it well before you really record your video. Okay, yeah. The next thing, please listen again to the presentation in before you speak on the previous page, and then check the expression you hear. Okay, so please play again, listen again the audio, and then check the expression you hear here. Okay, if you don't listen expression too close, so you don't have to check them. Okay, yeah. And next, guys, let's complete the notes to prepare a short presentation about causes and effects of a degraded watershed in the Catskill Mountains as described in the recording on page 29. Hold on, in page 29. Okay, to complete this, unfortunately, I didn't put the text here, but I will take the photo, yeah, and then share it in our group, in our class group. Okay. Well, now, guys, let's continue for the last things to do in this meeting. Okay, so work with a partner. Take turns giving your presentation using your note cards. Use the cause and effect words and expression that you have studied in this unit, as well as the expression in the skill box on the previous page. Then give feedback on your partner's presentation. Tell your partner one thing that he or she did well and one thing that she or he could do better. Okay, so for the project, for the presentation, I want you to guys, later on share the video in our group class so everybody can comment on their friend presentation. Do you guys get it? Yeah. Okay, now, okay, this is the steps to prepare for your presentation. So first, okay, for your presentation, choose an ecosystem to present. Okay, it's about an ecosystem to present. You may use one of the ecosystem you discuss in the page 28 or 2032 before, or write notes in the chart to connect your topic to ideas from reading and listening. If needed, use the library or the internet to find information. Okay, so you are choose to you are free to choose uh, an ecosystem you want to present. Okay, it can be maybe something which happened in your village. It's okay, but don't forget to complete the table over here. Yeah. So as I told you earlier, the presentation project will be what is it? Would be this one, yeah. A presentation about ecosystem, about the causes or the effects of destruction to ecosystem service. Okay, so you can choose any ecosystem and try to describe to present the causes and the effects of destruction to an ecosystem service. So don't forget to complete the table, and then step 2, after you have already chose, decide whether you will talk about causes, effects, or both. Then write notes on note cards. Okay, this is the most important. The point is to practice to write notes. Yeah. After that, practice the presentation with your note card. Try speaking in front of a mirror and not reading from your notes word per word. Use the expression you have learned to show cause and effect and to help your audience follow your idea. Okay, so before you give your presentation or before you start giving your presentation, I want you to show the notes to the camera, okay? So that everyone can look at your notes. Okay, guys? Yeah. After that, give your presentation. Um, well, not in a small group, but yes, because of the pandemic, when it is in the class, you should do it one by one in the class. Okay, I'm going to divide into groups, but because of this pandemic situation, so you can do it in the video. Okay, please record your presentation and share it to our group. And again, don't forget to show your notes to the camera before you sit down and do your presentation. Okay, and guys, as you listen to other student presentation, take notes of whether they discuss causes or effect. Think one of question to ask each presenter. Oke, jadi nanti di grupnya itu teman-teman silakan bertanya ya. Nah, okay, semua, I will be waiting your assignments, your video before Saturday. Before on Saturday before 12 o'clock. Okay. Well, that's all for our meeting today. Please don't hesitate to ask me questions if you need further explanation. Okay, bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.